I have a special guest with us today from our school. We want to hear from him today and see just what his needs might be. I think it involves some of our money that we give to the schools, some of the alcohol money. That request would be of that nature. So we're going to give you the floor, Mr. Principal. Come on and talk to us.
Well, I wouldn't call me a special guest. How about just an unwanted guest, like a spider or something? No, what I wanted to ask y'all about is, last time we talked, I think it was it in the fall that we came to a work session or something and talked about, some of the things we've done. Anyways, I wanted to ask for permission to use it for something that's a little out of the ordinary of what we normally do. It's for, supposed to be for instructional purposes and that kind of thing. Of course, this year's been a crazy year with the COVID. All right, so to say that we've been given additional monies for different things, and of course, all of it's earmarked. It seems like every kind of money you get at a school is earmarked. It's got to be this, except for our general fund, which, this year was not as good as it usually is because we're in a pandemic year. Obviously, we don't have as many kids coming to school. We can't have a break in the same way that we have. So to say that our general fund maybe not quite as what it usually is kind of what I'm saying. So what I'm wanting to do is we need a new lawnmower. All right, and I'm going to get one way or the other, but I wanted to ask permission to use some of the alcohol tax money to do that with. And before I ask, I kind of want to tell you what we had spent things on this year and kind of give you an idea of what we had done. I think I got the wrong piece of paper. I'll try to do the best I can then, okay? I sure did. Okay, we spent about, this is since last April. We've spent about 11,600 roughly on the copy machines. All right, we had a bill for $360 on our cameras where we, for safety, our cameras around. We had to get a new, what's the thing called where it operates the camera system? Whatever that is.
NVR.
Yeah, that. We had to get one of those. We spent, let's see, okay, this school's, if I add this right, $6,523 on, this was school supplies for kids. This year when we were coming in, the kids, we always send out these school supply lists. And I said, give me them lists. People have been out of work since March and this, that, and other. And so I ordered as many things as I could, and I used the city tax money to give straight for all the kids to have school supplies. And we reordered a couple of times, so that's roughly $6,500 we spent to go directly, like crayons, pencils, paper, scissors, glue sticks, headphones. I think I left that one off. Anyways, well, that was another. We ordered like 600 headphones. We spent right at $5,000 on smart TVs because we had spent more than they allowed us on technology, and I said, well, that's fine. We'll use tax money to go. That's going to those smart TVs that the teachers use for instruction. And we've spent about $5,500 on reading programs and student motivation programs. One of them's called Seesaw, one of them's called A to Z. Different resources that the teachers can put the kids on to kind of remediate and give them a different way to do what they're already doing in class as an instruction piece. And then we ordered 2 reading instruction books for all of our teachers. One of them's called Heggerty for phonemic awareness. Now I know I'm probably speaking Greek when I start talking about that, because to me it is sometimes too when I start naming all these specific ways that you teach kids how to read. But phonemic awareness and understanding the sounds and the words and how they make different things. We ordered those books, and then there's a new book because we've identified, we think, an issue with fluency for our school, and we've got a new set of books coming for all of our teachers. We ordered that with it, which between the two of those comes out to about $1,300 roughly. Like I said, I brought the wrong piece of paper. And then last year I'd asked you if we could finish off with the playground, some mulch and stuff, because that's their classroom for PE. Mm-hmm. So that was about $4,000 we spent there. So I don't know what my total is now. I'm gonna say it was around 34,000 we had spent since last year, since last April, on different things. And so I thought, well, you know, we've spent a lot on the instructional things. It's not like I'm asking for, can we just spend it all on this one thing that's not really necessarily instructional? But I'm asking for permission to spend the lawnmower that I'm wanting to get is a 52-inch. Zero turn, and I've got price for 83, right, 8,400 on it. So, and if the council will be willing to let me use city tax money, I would appreciate it. If you say, well, no, we don't want to do that, I understand. I understand what the purpose of the money is for. Also, if you think, well, that's too much, then would you do half? I'll go either way. I mean, I can put half out the general, that way my general fund don't take such a big hit. Because if I do take 8,400 out of my general fund, it's gonna take a pretty good hit, but we gotta have it. So that's kind of where we are on that, and that's, I wanted to present it to y'all. I don't want to just go out and spend it, and then people talk, well, they're spending that money, wasting money. That's not what we allotted the money for, and I understand that. And so I wanted to come to y'all and kind of get permission, or if you would, and that way, wouldn't be like I was doing it underhanded, and then also do something that cause people, the community, to get upset and take the money away from other schools. I would never want to be the cause of that, so that's why I'm here to ask. So, and I'm not one of them people ask and say the answer can't be no. If no's the answer, I understand, but I did want to come present it to you. So, if y'all got any questions, feel free to ask me.
Sure.
I did bring my wrong notes, but I probably got them right out there in the truck. If y'all need me to go get more exact figures, that's just where they kind of.
Well, we're glad to hear the report you gave, and I think the best approach is to get permission on matters like this, where we've kind of earmarked the funds for classroom education primarily. Sometimes the ox is in the ditch. We know we just come through a strange year, and a year when a lot of the functions kind of got knocked in the head, so to speak. And I'm not saying it's an out of sorts request at all. I'm just saying it needs to be supported by these men sitting here in these chairs, because they are the elected body of the city. And I'm glad you came asking permission. If y'all want to make it an agenda item, we'll make it an agenda item to bring to a vote. If you want, that'll happen next Monday night. Or if you want to say it don't fit, we're not for it. If you want to do it verbally, we'll either vote on it or we'll do it verbally. I mean, if you want to say, I think it's okay to do a portion of it or any of it or all of it. I mean, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just saying we need to listen to this request and act on it, so he'll know where he stands as far as funding and that kind of thing. Any comments or questions?
Would we need to change the guidelines, what we've got, if we were to do this to?
I think it would be more like a special allowance outside of the guidelines. And I think each time that we have a request, we need to take it into consideration and act on it according to the dictates of our art. And I know we've got sort of a guideline set up, but almost every rule that's made has an exception. And we've heard the request and the need. It's up to us to, I guess, make a decision and act on it. And I'm not necessarily straddling the fence. I'm happy with the guidelines we got, but I'm not unable to entertain the idea of some exceptions if they need to be.
How much money is in that account?
Currently,
Yes.
I think
Roughly.
I'm gonna say around. I'm gonna say we have around 20,000 in there right now.
What we got last year?
well, yeah. See, this goes, we've spent 34,000 since about April. Well, we had, you know, a good bit of last year's money left, plus this year's money. I don't say, was it 37,000 we had gotten in September, again, so, I can't put it exact, but I'm gonna say it's 20 to 25,000, you know, we're still in there. And I wanna do this thing with the school supplies. I like that idea so well, not having to ask the community to come up with some of that stuff, cause y'all got, a lot of y'all have kids that went through school, and you know, you start buying for 2 or 3 kids, and you buying $100 worth of stuff. That's asking a lot. I mean, that's asking a lot, and to me, I can't think of a better use for that money than for us to supply those kids with most of what they need. And that way, we basically they just show up and we've got what they need. So I do, as long as I'm here, I'm gonna try to always reserve back, you know, a lot of that money to do that with. So we're not asking kids to buy 6 boxes of crayons in August
I agree.
or July. I can't stand that. And so that's why I did that, and I'm gonna continue to do that. But anyways, that's not what you're asking about.
No.
Around, I'm gonna say we've got around 25, I'm thinking.
What really, I guess, feels good to me, and I'm just gonna speak for me and not for these men, is I like the 50-50 proposition you made us. We allow 50% of it to come out of this funds and you find the other out of the general. And I'm not putting that in concrete, I'm just saying it's kind of felt good when we were sharing the cost, you know. And that way we're not as far out of bounds as we are to grant the whole amount.
Well, can I ask a question, even though I'm not voting on it?
You can't ask one on this. Sorry. You're here for another purpose. This is me and the council and the principal.
I mean, I trust our three principals, and that whatever they do with that money, that they be responsible for it and making sure that it's something that the school needs. And I know there's a lot of things that you don't get money for to try to run a school on a daily basis, and it has been a different year with COVID and supplies you probably had to buy, cleaning supplies, and, you know, if it's something the school needs, whether, I mean, equipment outside or equipment inside, I mean, it's for the school, the way I look at it. And I'm fine with the 50-50 or just allowing him to spend that $8,400 to get that mower. I mean, these guys are under a lot of pressure every day, and we need to support our schools.
I agree.
I know they're a county school system, but there's schools like Hamilton on them. And a lot of people are gonna come back and say, well, that's a county problem. No, it's a federal problem, part of funding. And I feel like the best way, our city needs to stand behind their schools and they need to support them. So,
I will say this about that too, though, the county doesn't buy anybody lawnmowers. I mean, I've been to other schools, I've had to buy lawnmowers there too, so, you know, the schools have to come up with that. So, you know, some schools are more able to than others, and some are not as able to as others, but you still gotta get them.
If I had a child playing on your campus, I'd rather they could see the snake than step on it.
Well, I was thinking, you know, we could get a lawnmower, we can get some, trees and plant out there.
Kill the grass.
Yeah, you know.
Like I say, I'm not necessarily opposed to what Scott mentioned, but the 50-50 proposition felt pretty good. I just tell you, I'm just coming from the heart on that. And these other men, if they have any other feelings want to be shared here, share them. I mean, we're all in this together.
I'll echo what Scott said. Even if it was 100% bill.
Same way. You know.
So,
We won't hear from Councilman Williams till he arrives, but I think we're looking favorably toward helping you. And I wanted you here today in person to ask for this favor, and I don't say it's out of sorts in any way. It's part of the sport, and if you put a thumb on every penny that you hand out, and say, it's under my thumb, even though I gave it to you to spend. I like guidelines, but like I say, exceptions often happen, and we haven't had a lot of areas where we've had to give or sway on our rules. Y'all have not asked us to break the rules a whole lot. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you just being here today.
Absolutely. Like I told in the last time I came, I'll be glad to come. Anytime you want me to come and say what we got going on and how we've spent things,
Would you feel better if it's in our minutes that we vote on this, or would you feel okay if we just verbally consent?
Whatever. I just wanted to bring it to y'all and get your blessing. And if you bless it, good. If you bless half of it, good. If you bless none of it, we'll still be friends when I leave here.
How do y'all want to do it? Do you want to verbally consent, or do you want to bring it to a vote?
I'm good with a verbal.
Then we'll let you know Monday night. We'll put it on the agenda and bring it to a vote. Around 8,400's what you mentioned? Okay.
The one you got, how was it?
I think Miss Lane said they got it. I don't know if she said they got it right before she got there or right when she got there. So I don't know how long she's been there, but I'm gonna say her in the neighborhood of 9-10 years. And I drove that thing a lot this summer and fall, and y'all know Mr. Mays had retired, and so I was doing a lot of grass cutting. And that thing, you have to hold it right here to operate. It's not level. I know there's probably just some adjustments you can make on that, but you can't ask me to do it. So I'm trying to drive that thing. I'm thinking, man, if I'm asking people to operate this kind of machinery, I mean, it's just, it's kind of wore out. So
Tim tried to mow with one with a warped deck. He knows how.
that's fun. Ain't it?
That was a lot of fun to run, wasn't it, Tim?
Can't put it on the outfield in a baseball field, that's for sure.
One side gets skin up and the other one fine level.
It
We
made some
got
strange
Ditches
strange
around there,
paths.
You get nervous around them because you make the wrong cut over in the ditch.
Well, we appreciate you coming today, and look, we were glad we were able to help the schools, first of all,
We
and,
appreciate it.
and,
Because like I said, all that stuff I mentioned, I mean, that's stuff we had to have.
we'll put it in the minutes for you Monday night, but it looks favorable right this moment, okay?
All right, well, I appreciate it. I
All
won't
right.
take up any more
All
of
right,
y'all's
thank
time.
you.
I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Next, it's time for Bill Walker to talk. And Bill, we got whole nother matter for you to discuss with us, so, your partner in crime, Mr. Mike Johnson, didn't show today, so you got the show by yourself, okay?
Well, it wasn't my fault, cause I told him about it.
Yeah, I know. He had something pushing, I think. But anyway, Bill's here to talk to us about a situation that has to do with the sanitation department. And more specifically, the part that he runs for us, as to, kind of a commercial, situation, and Bill can elaborate on it more. So Bill, I'm gonna give you the floor now.
Do I have to stand up?
Up to you. If you can talk better on your feet, please do.
I can't talk any better on it.
Okay.
Well, I've been running the inert part of the sanitation department over there for 10 years. Bobby Holliday was actually the mayor when Kevin hired me. And we've been taking inert materials, from remodeling, anything that they couldn't put in the regular garbage for all that time, and we haven't been charging anything for it. In other words, everybody brings stuff over there for free. So about 2 months ago, Mike and I got together and we decided that we would start charging a fee to the contractors and rental property owners. That brought a lot over there. And believe me, those particular people bring a lot of stuff over there. Rental property owners when cleaning out something that somebody left behind when they moved, and, you know, contractors. And they had talked about this in the past over the years, but they couldn't make up their mind what they wanted to charge and what would be fair for everybody. So we settled on, for a big 16-foot trailer, $20. A smaller trailer, $10, and just a pickup load, $5.
Is that for everybody or just the
No, it's just for the, right now, it's just for the
contractors?
contractors and rental
Real-
property
okay,
owners.
gotcha.
Yeah. And we decided to charge that if somebody that didn't live in the city limits brought
Right.
some over there. And we have that happen quite often. Because there's no other place around here to take it.
And we're having to pay to get rid of that stuff
Yeah.
by the ton, and this will defray some of our costs. Bill does a wonderful job working with customers, helping them to locate it in the right bins and things like this. He's even stepped up, he come out of retirement, first of all, to come help us. Secondly, he's agreed to work an extra day for us. He's keeping it open 2 days a week now and kind of supervising all activity of that kind of refuse. And he's doing a good job for us. And I told him I'd rather we actually sanction this by vote than to just start charging people by the load and them saying, does everybody pay? Well, we need to know who's gonna pay and put it in some sort of a formal setting, I think, if we're gonna make these charges, and it protects them. They don't need to be called out on any of this. It needs to be policy. So I'd rather we know what we're doing and vote on it in a meeting and put it in the minutes that this will be our standard policy for loads of whatever they're bringing.
Whatever they bring.
How much we get charged a ton, you know?
I don't know, do you know, Angela?
I have to look it up.
Bill, tell us what you can't take at all, what you can't get rid of at all.
Well, we have a lot of, in the inert bin, we can't put any electronics. We have to take that in the regular garbage. And it's hard to get a hold of, or hard to get rid of TVs.
What about roofing material like
So we
asphalt
don't-
shingles?
we have never, we have it on the sign out there that we can't take shingles.
Okay.
And we'll take a few, like if somebody's had to patch a roof, you know, and you got 2 or 3 square, we can take that, but as far as, you know, some.
Loads of it?
Yeah, if the contractor came over there with shingles, then we'd have to turn it down, because they're so heavy.
Yeah.
You know.
I
But I
know.
will say this, here lately, we have had an influx of people that have sold their houses, and they clean up around there, and you just wouldn't believe what they bring over there. And in the past, we had put limits. Well, let's say, for instance, if you had a 16-foot trailer and brought it over there full of stuff that you cleaned up around your property, we'd take 1 load that day, but we wouldn't take another one. Because I've averaged it out, and I've been up there for 10 years now, and we have an average of 16 people that come up there every day that we're open. Some days it's 30. Some days, you know, if the weather's bad, it won't be very much, but the average 16 people. And if you let one contractor or somebody that's cleaning up their property fill that bin up, then you have to turn the rest of them away. And there's a lot of them, especially these rental property owners, that when they get started, you know, they want to bring it all up there at one time. So we had to try to limit that. And I don't think the fee is enough that it would cause people to dump it somewhere else. If somebody comes up there and they say they can't pay it, fine. You know, I'm not gonna make them pay it or hold them to it, because I don't want them dumping it on the side of the road. But with all the, we had been carrying this on about 2 months and I've only had one complaint.
But this is only for contractors and rental property owners,
Yeah.
not the general public.
No, not right now, but there's a lot of stuff that, once they find out they can bring it over there, that they will bring it. And you know, when we got this new garbage truck, y'all kinda cut everybody down to 2 cans a week.
Wouldn't y'all?
Wouldn't us.
Well, somebody.
But we understand.
Well, we know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, there's
That was for a purpose.
Yeah.
it was for
To
a
keep
purpose.
from having to charge them more money. They don't wanna pay more than $17.
Alright.
So we're picking up 2 cans for $17. Now, we could put them $30 charge on them. We could pick up 4 or 5 cans for them, but if the people want a $17 garbage bill, they're going to have 2 cans only.
Well, what they do with the extras is guess where they bring it.
To you.
Well, sure, but
Well,
we're
that's the
not.
reason I come up with the deal, you know, like if somebody brings up a washer and dryer, you know, a couple of old mattresses, you know, water heaters, you know, just stuff like that. It's extra stuff that you couldn't pick up on the garbage truck anyway.
Yeah.
So we might look at later, you know, if somebody just comes up there one time and brings something, but if they come up there a lot,
Yeah.
you just wouldn't believe how much extra stuff that they've brought up there over the past 2 months, and it's been bad weather. And I know what's gonna happen when summertime gets
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Well, it's, you know, I think all this is good thinking and good planning. It's something we need to hear because we're not only taking the stuff, we're paying to get rid of it.
Yeah,
And this will help defray some of that cost.
yeah.
And we really need that help.
When you talk about out of town people or out of city limits, how do you, I guess, I know you know a lot of most people around here and
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of people around here now, Matt, that I don't know.
well, I mean, yeah, I'm the same way that, you know, used to know everybody, but now it's, but I didn't know if there was a way that you,
Well, they were supposed to, when it started out, bring a copy of their water bill up
Gotcha.
there, or garbage bill, to prove that they live in the city limits. But nobody does that anymore, so I have to ask them. And sometimes they'll tell me the truth. And I had to turn it down before because we just didn't take stuff out of the city limits. But Mike and I decided that we'd take it and charge them a fee for whatever size load it
Yeah.
was. And so far, there've been several that have been honest about it when they say, you know, no, I don't live in the city limits.
could we tell them, just say we have to see your ID?
More and more and more, you're gonna see limited places you can get rid of stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, we're beginning to be a last resort sometimes, and we don't want it dumped in the woods. So I think we can keep it orderly. But I do want the council to see fit to sanction this so that they're not strung out on the limb and just making charges and causing arguments. I just don't want to see it go that way.
Yeah, well, he was bragging on me a while ago. I thought I'd ask you for a raise. It'd be a good time, wouldn't it?
Sure was a cold evening out there.
I have just a couple questions, Mayor. Do you log, like, how much money you take in on a daily or weekly or monthly basis?
Yes, I have kept up with. Of course, we can't take a credit card, but take cash or a check, make it out to the city. I'd rather have a check, because I don't really like handling the money.
Do we know where, does this go back to the general fund, or does it stay in their department's budget, or?
It goes back in the general fund to
To the-
street or sanitation.
Yeah.
It goes back in there.
I don't know money.
Angela, how much do we charge when we go out to a house and pick up stuff? I know like one time, we do it one time and then the second time it costs, don't it, to
I think $50 is,
$50.
if they have to go back and pick up, you know, a large amount of something.
Well, when I went into work this morning, we didn't have very much in that bin, and right now it's full, and this has been a rainy day. And of course, one of the loads that they picked up was with a grapple truck that they had to bring over there, and it was a pretty good size. I don't know where they got it.
I know I went over there, came over there one day, it's been back a few years ago, and it was slam full, and you had to turn me away.
Well, Friday's always
I think it was Friday.
Yeah, Friday is always a rough day.
Yeah.
How much tonnage will, normally do you think we're sending out in one of those containers?
Well, a regular garbage truck load on the household garbage is anywhere from 6 to 9 tons. And so that's a bigger bin, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much, you know, I don't have any idea. I think Mike told me that they charge $150 just to bring the bin down here. And then I don't know how much. Well, I do remember one figure. Kevin was over the street department when Bobby Holiday hired me. And Kevin told me that the city spent $18,000 just for that inert bin in a year for disposal. So it's probably more than that now.
You can see, guys, kind of why we need to be charging, because we get a lot of stuff hauled in, and that bin fills up. We never have it's always full.
It's always, well, we usually get 2 bins, we've open 2 days and we get 2 bins a week, you know. And this is not a money-making operation.
Oh,
yeah.
We're not
it
gonna
won't make
any
us money, but it'll just defray some of the costs, and
Yeah.
I think that's what we wanna do, and
Well, I told Bobby the other day that I had a sister-in-law down in Fayette that had moved to Louisiana. And I went down there and helped her move, and the county of Fayette has got a operation like that. It's not the city, it's the county. And what the county did in Fayette was they bought 2 bins, and they bought a truck. And when that bin gets full, they can pull it out and slide the other one in there, and then they haul it off. And it makes it, you know, that's what they did. And I don't know how much, you know, that would cost or anything.
Basically, it's one of those trucks where it just backs up and it attaches and slides it up
Yeah.
on the back.
And if you got a truck like that, it won't do anything else. It's
Right.
kind of like having a movie theater. You know, if you don't have a movie theater, you can't hardly put anything else in there. But that's something that they looked at.
Right.
And some of the times, you know, we have a problem if the bin gets full and somebody comes in with a big load and we have to turn it down because we ain't got any room for it.
if Bill and Mike worked up a little sheet of what they wanna go by, and we put it on the agenda, do y'all think we could sanction that for them, or y'all, do we have opposition to charging? I guess he needs to know kind of where he stands, if we're gonna vote with him or not sanction what they're doing. And if we're not gonna sanction what they're doing by vote, I think we need to quit charging, period,
Yeah.
because we're gonna hang them
We've
out.
already been doing this how long?
We just started about in the first day of February.
Okay,
I've been doing it 2 months.
2 months. How much money have we collected?
I've turned in $445 to Mike.
Okay.
So like I said, it's not a lot of money. It's not something that we're gonna make money on. And there've been some, you know, that didn't pay or didn't. I can't, of course, nowadays everybody knows that all the money is on direct deposit. Usually they'd be surprised if people don't have any cash and we couldn't take a debit card, so that's the reason that they didn't pay.
People can always use it as an excuse.
Hmm.
People can always use it as an excuse.
Yeah, one guy, well, I tell you what, I'll just give you an example. There's a contractor that lives right down here. He's renting a house right there across from the old Hamilton Drive-In up here. And he's renting that house from Bentley's, I think. And first time he came over there, you know, I told him it'd be $20 because he had a trailer load. Well, he gave me 30. I said, no, it's just 20. He said, well, if I haul it anywhere else, they can charge me up to $200. So he's getting a bargain. And the second time he came over there, same thing. I told him $20. He paid me 30. So, you know, so far with the ones that we've talked to, I've only had just one complaint. I'm not gonna tell you who that was.
Well, actually, it is very reasonable what you're charging, and and I'm not saying it needs to be more, I'm just glad we're doing something to defray some of the costs and, but I didn't think we should be charging without something in the minutes to back them up. And when Bill and I talked about it, I said, let's try to get the council to make it official for you if we're gonna be charging. So that you're not kind of hung out there and saying you need to pay and it's not really on the books or in the minutes.
What were the amounts again? $20 for a
For a-
trailer load?
A big trailer load, $10 for a small trailer load, and was it $5
$5 for a pickup.
For a
truck load?
pickup.
That'd be a 16-foot trailer load for $20.
I guess when we're saying
Just period.
a trailer, it would probably compare to a 2-ton truck with a bed on it or something like that. I mean,
Well, every once in a while, we'll have a dump truck come over there.
yeah,
Ooh, I don't like that.
yeah.
Could we get a sheet worked up with these figures and maybe know how much we're paying?
Yeah, I'd
Per
like,
ton and-
before we
and
bring
maybe-
it to a vote, I'd like y'all to
Maybe
review
for the
the
next
sheet.
work
yeah.
session, look
Yeah.
at that, and
I
make
can go
sure.
find out now if you want me to.
I mean, let me ask you this,
I'll
sir.
just stick it in my hand.
I mean, I know it's not a whole lot of money. I mean, $400 and something, but
It's like $200 a month.
yeah. But I know it can in summertime. It's probably gonna go up. Could we allocate that money back for one of those type trucks that you're talking about, like a used one, like at a state auction or something, and use that? Because I mean, in the long run, that would save us money if we could haul it ourselves instead of having to pay somebody $18,000 or $20,000 a year to come get it. I mean, that's just that. I was just thinking outside the box.
Well,
You still gotta pay your tonnage when you get rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you haul it to the landfill, when you go across their scales, that's how much you pay them for.
the only thing that having a truck and 2 bins would do would be, we don't have to call the guy in Franklin County to bring a bin down here at lunch on Friday, you know, cause he can't do it sometimes.
Right.
And, you know, so you get kinda caught there, not having a place to put the stuff. And, right now, we've got that inert bin, and we've got 2 bins for the household garbage that people bring over, you know, where they had more than 2 cans, or they didn't put their garbage out in time. And on Friday, those things have to be emptied about 3 times. So, you know, that's the only thing that a truck and 2 bins of our own would.
I just didn't know if it would be enough savings.
I don't know, I really wouldn't know. Now, if you find out from Fayette County, you know, what they've got in theirs.
Yeah.
But see, that operation there is for the whole county, and they leave that thing open 5 days a week and a half a day on Saturday.
This is Franklin County, right?
No.
I mean Fayette County.
Fayette County, yeah.
Fayette County.
So we have to haul what we've got right now to landfill in Franklin County. And there's another landfill here that does that too, and it's Pace Industries up in Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the contractors around here use them. You know, when they've got a big remodel job, they'll bring a bin down to them.
Yeah.
And they don't have to bring it over to us.
Yeah, we appreciate your
Mayor, I'm for
presentation. Yes,
us looking at all the figures and making sure we got everything in front of us and try to come up with some type of a, plan on this. But I'd just like to have all the figures in front of us so that we know we are charging what we need to.
yeah.
I found, one of the bills for that bin that they come pick up, and it's just the rate for that is a standard rate of $67.43 a ton. And then they're charging us environmental, $18, fuel, administrative fees, so.
What's those?
And, those are just like one-time fees. The environmental fee is $18. The fuel recovery fee is $23.74. And the administrative fee is $5.25. Those were just charged like one time. But the rate on the tonnage is $67.43 per ton. is what they're charging. For them to transport it to a landfill or wherever.
So basically, other than the tonnage, we're paying probably about, what, $700-800? You say it was a one-time fee?
Each time they
Each time
come
they come,
and pick
each,
it up.
for each bin, they pay that.
Plus the
Y'all pay that.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They charge us per ton.
But
But what I'm saying, yeah, but I'm just talking about just the service fee, not
How
counting
many
the
tons
tonnage.
that thing hold?
Well, it varies sometimes, but all I'm going by is, the tonnage that the regular garbage truck has, and they'll anywhere from 6 to 9 tons. And that bin, it'll probably have at least that much in it every time.
A lot of these bills will look like they're for.
And that's twice a week.
5.66 tons.
Twice a week.
Twice a week, yeah. And see that, the landfill that we're taking that to is a private landfill.
Okay.
And the one in Lynn is private. That's the reason we can't put electronics and stuff like that in there. They just don't want it. Anything toxic, can't put that in there.
Right.
That's about all I can think of.
It's, the
Y'all wanna pass that around?
waste seems like a simple thing, but it gets real complicated in that you've got so many different types of waste. And what Bill's handling for us is different than household waste, household garbage. All he's doing is inert, and we have to be select on those things because there's things he still can't put in the bin. And he has to safeguard that for us, and that's where he comes in really nice because he does a good job of that.
Well, it gets complicated sometimes because people don't know when they come over there that you can't put household garbage up there. And if they've got any of that in there, we have to separate it, or
Yeah.
they do, you know. Oh, and before we put the gate up, they could get in there fairly easy.
Yeah,
And we'd have to come in the next day and
it was in there every
haul the
day.
household garbage out of there, the people that thrown in it,
Yeah.
cause it was the closest to the fence.
Yeah.
Not a whole month. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
Well, as you say, Scott, let's get our list together and then let's look it over and agree on what we're voting on but Bill, we're gonna look into this for you. And we don't want y'all hung out down there, on charges and people arguing with you and this kind of thing. It just needs to be the rule.
Well, just,
And
there's always, you're not gonna make everybody happy, but so far 99% of the people that I've talked to about it and asked them about paying a fee, no problem. They're glad to do it because they
Yeah.
want a place that they could carry, get rid of it easily without having to haul it all over the country.
Okay, well, thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Bill.
Item 2 on today's agenda, I've been told that we can meet Mr. Tom Weissmuller as early as April the 13th. If that's agreeable, he'll come to a work session. He is the new C3 director, and he's wanting to meet us. And is that okay to invite him on the 13th? Okay. Well, I've got him, he's penciled in, but I told, Miss Christian that I'd change that if it was not an agreeable thing. So he'll be here on the 13th then to meet us and talk to us about, why he thinks we should be members of the C3. Tim is here with, our Little League lot, matters and also a report on our new bathrooms for our, park facilities over here. So Tim, we'll let you go in whichever order you wanna go.
On the bathrooms, they have the roof on, they're doing the plumbing and the electrical today.
So it's coming right
Yeah,
along. It'll finish pretty quickly.
It should finish, weather permitting, pretty quick, so
Okay.
they're mostly inside now, so. On our lights, when I talked to y'all before, we were talking about a budget price of about 240 to 250 for both fields. We actually, by going through Sourcewell, which is Purchase Incorporated, we're gonna be able to save a little money. saving right at 21,000 on the materials price. The $3,000, the add-on right there that's for the technology to turn them on and off remotely through an app on your phone. That's $1,500 for each field. If you turn over,
Is that something just you or somebody from the office only have?
Yes.
Nobody- Okay. All right.
the bid proposal on the installation was $48,250, and that's for both fields. He does have a policy in there, rock policy, which I don't anticipate us having a problem down there. We've never had a problem with rocks down there. Everything's been real soft. That would be the only thing that would. He's looking at, if we get the go-ahead, he will go ahead and order materials, to try to keep from having a price increase. And we're looking at probably the 1st of July on starting installation. He said it'll take about 3 weeks.
During that time, will you be having any games?
We will just have to shut it down, which is a good, July is a good time to do it. If we're having any practices, we can do it in other fields.
There won't be any games during that time. They'll
No.
probably be done anyway.
We'll be done.
Is that during All-Star time usually?
It's really kinda after All-Star.
All-Stars, start travel ball or?
Right.
If I'm reading this right, it'd be $210,000,
Yeah,
$250 for
Yeah.
both fields.
both fields.
Whereas we were looking at
250. So yeah, by going through Sourcewell, which, the last one lawnmower I bought, we bought it through Sourcewell, and you get a pretty significant discount. It was like, it was a $20,000, and I got, lawnmower we got for 15. So it's a good cooperative. It's nationwide.
Do we have very much storm or lightning damage to our lighting systems?
Luckily, we have not,
That's good.
especially as old as the poles are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. I
Occasionally we-
didn't particularly know of
Yeah.
any, I just wondered.
Occasionally, we've had some fixtures that, that we've had problems with, but really, we've dodged a bullet on it.
That's good. We all see what we're faced with on the matters of the, 2 fields that are inadequately lighted. They're not even up to code for regulation play right now. That's, pretty bad. As time has gone on, those reflective devices up there have got less reflective, which has cut down on the lighting. I'm sure they were better at one time, but they're less bright than they were, and,
Tim, what's left over? I mean, you talked the other day when I was up there.
You know-
Can you use it for anything, like,
We might be able to throw on
Practice.
some practice fields, something like that we develop in the future.
is there any use to selling it? Would it be more, nobody really wants it?
I don't think anybody would buy that technology now because of those,
Some of those lights we can take up to Charles Greenfield.
we could.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
make that a little bit better up there for
Add some to some of the fields?
Right.
that Charles Greenfield and be used for.
Is that something we can do ourselves? We'd have to contract that too, probably.
Yeah.
I just had a lane brain thought, and that's, adding supplemental lights to the existing, but you'd have 2 different kinds of lighting, and you'd have some that really look dim and then some of it really look bright, so I think just lighting them properly is the only way to go.
And this would be a long-term
Yeah,
fix that somebody wanted to come back
Field
5, 10
one,
years and do it again, will it?
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I
We got
remember it
money's
not
worth
being
out of
dim
it.
back then.
Oh, heck, yeah. Absolutely.
That's a 25-year warranty on it, so.
well, okay, Tim.
Oh,
But are those lights down there the same as what's at the Charles Greenfield?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be something later on if we needed to add something to it.
And like I said, if you ever have, fixtures go out, which would.
Spares.
Yeah, spare fixture.
is there any on the old upper softball field we played on years ago?
It's well,
I thought we lit that.
Yeah.
they're not LED, it was before
That's
that
right.
technology really hit,
Seemed
but
like our
it's the best lit
demonstration
field we
did.
have.
I think we did that several
Yeah,
years ago.
Musco did
did that.
I remember that. I thought we did.
Probably the
I
best
forget that
field
field's
we got.
even up there.
They're using it for practice a lot.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Tim.
right now, you're wide open.
We
Probably
are.
practice, aren't you? How many baseball teams we got?
We have
Softball.
3, 4, 5, 6, 8 baseball and 7 softball. And then looks like probably gonna have about 8 T-ball teams.
8?
Wow. So their field's gonna be used.
Ross, you ready to coach?
This is a good report, Tim, thank you.
Thank you.
We got two other pretty large items to discuss today. Scott Tower's gonna do the last one, and Rodney's here to talk to us about the commercial customers, our old worn out contracts and our possible new contracts that we need to make with these commercial customers. So Rodney, you've got the floor.
I gave most of you a list the other day, it had our wholesale water rates on it, what we've been charging. Actually, the contract ran out last year in 2020. We had a 10-year contract with Marion County and Hewitt on the water they purchased from us. I've been doing some studying on it, and the rates we have been charging them, like I said, was a 10-year contract. And previously, before that 10 years, when we renewed that contract 11 years ago, we went up 10 cents a thousand on it, from $1.65 to $1.75 a thousand. And since that time, we've had a lot of changes, a lot more expenses now than we've had in the previous 10 years. Of course, chemicals go up every year. And the fact that we changed some chemical, went to some different type chemicals that we feed now that we didn't used to feed, and it's more expensive. Plus the fact, we've had increases in salaries at the plants and that kind of stuff that we did Allen Capital helped us do the study on what it costs to produce water. And we did that across the board. That's the whole water, sewer, everything involved with it. And that total was up around $5 a thousand, what it was costing us. But, to produce water for the county and deal with the wholesale water part of it, it's not really fair to figure all those costs, the sewer cost and all that stuff in with it, to make a price for them. I feel like we do need to go up on the rates. Yeah, I've talked to some different people, and there's a wide range of rates that's out there for wholesale water. And most systems base their wholesale rates on what it's costing them to produce water. I hadn't tried to do, or sit down with Alan or anything and try to do a study on what it costs us to produce, without all the other stuff involved with it. I hadn't got that far with it, but I think we do need to raise the price of wholesale rates, and I think we do need to, instead of maybe a 10-year contract, maybe a 5-year contract. Because like I said, chemicals and everything go up every year.
Who's the wholesale customers? City of Gewin and county?
County water.
That's the only two sources?
That's on 2 buys from us. We have, the county buys, they have 2 different meters they're buying water from. We have the we call the Cherry Hill meter out at Cherry Hill Church Christ, out 25. That's our main, that's where we sell the most wholesale water to. They feed all the way back around the Bird and all in that area, off of that meter. They have pump station past their meter that pump to their tanks. And then they also have a meter up past Poplar Log Church, up 49, County 49. They serve some people up toward Hackleburg that way. And of course, Gewin got a meter down at Pikeville that they get water from us down there.
Does Gewin buy what?
It's not, I mean, they average, let's see, they get, average about 4 million a year.
Gallons?
Gallons a year. About 350 to 400,000 gallon a month.
Is that more than the county?
No.
County buys more?
Average out at on the Cherry Hill meter, or at the Weston meter, they average about a 1.4 million a month. That's 16 to 17,000, or 16 to 17 million a year.
About 4 times more than Gewin.
Rodney, would you, try to get us an adjustment figured and based on cost for the next workshop?
Yeah. You're not talking about, you're just talking about raising the wholesale for like the county or the city. You're not talking about raising water rates for businesses or?
No, it's just strictly wholesale water.
Okay.
And those contracts are out of date. They've got to be either renewed or we operating with outside the contract.
I understand.
And we didn't know if you want a 5-year contract with these folks or do you want a 10-year contract?
I'd rather go with Rodney's 5-year.
5 years.
10 years.
We don't know 5 years from now.
What,
Yeah.
inflation and all that,
Price of everything's just going up.
yeah.
Cost of producing is not gonna get any cheaper.
As Rodney says, we won't be putting the salaries, the insurance, electric bills and all that stuff in there. We're gonna be looking at just producing water, purifying water and sending it up the line so that our customers can mark it up and sell it to their customers. But folks, we're at $1.75, that's a joke.
Yeah.
As to what we should be charging, and that is so underpriced. It's unreal.
Well, if it goes up, they need time to adjust. We just vote on it one night and the next week their rates go up.
Yeah.
They gotta have time to,
If you
Give them
want,
30 days
if you
or
want our customers at this table to talk with them, we'll bring them to the
well, I
table.
mean, I don't know that's necessary, but if somebody was going up on you, it's like a notice of,
Yeah.
you know, at least 30 days so they can, their board can meet and adjust, cause they're gonna have to adjust their rates.
Yeah.
Have you talked to them any, Rodney?
That's what I was-
I hadn't talked to the county or arguing about it. I mentioned it to Scott Hunt, because Scott wrote the contract last time. And we're gonna do some talking, you know, to figure out what it's costing us and that kind of stuff. To go from there.
Is Jan coming? She's over the county, right? Okay.
Is anybody else selling the county? Or are we the only
That's what I was
ones?
about to ask, yeah.
Do
Do
what?
they have any other, can they buy from anybody else?
Yeah, they buy some from Gewin, actually, I think. The county buys all their water. They don't have a treatment plant or anything. They purchase all their
They
water.
buy from
They-
Bear Creek?
I think they buy some from Bear, well, I'm not sure. I know Franklin County sells to Hackleburg. And I found out what they're charging for Of course, Franklin County built a state-of-the-art treatment plant. Not one, when they built it, there wasn't one like it in Alabama. But they charge like $3.74 a thousand to Hackleburg.
We're gonna try to bring something to the table for you guys to consider when we renew our contracts. If our customers wanna renew their contracts with us, we need to be fair and lay it on the table for them and say, this is gonna be the new rates, the new contract that we can offer you. And we need to have something to stand on when we offer it, saying why it's this. And we're not just gonna pull a figure out of the air and say, this is your new rate. We're gonna base it on something. And cost is usually the factor that you base it on, so.
Not by no means do I wanna try to gouge them either. I mean,
Right.
You know, we're not trying to make a profit on them, we're trying to keep from losing money on them. We wanna be fair about it, and we don't wanna just try to price gouge somebody either.
Thank you, Rodney. Anything else you want? We did get our new digger in, right?
Got our new tractor in, you used it? We haven't used it.
If you want
We use
to
it
see
every
our
day.
new track hoe, it's really nice.
Actually, the day it came in, we were sent home because of that first tornado, bad weather day that we were going, you know, it was possible. So I'd gotten home and got a call about 2 o'clock, I guess, from our sales rep, and he said, you're fixing to get a call from a driver out of Birmingham, said they're delivering your track hoe. And I said, okay. So I went down to the shop, and Jason came down there also, and we got it unloaded. We started unloading. I got to looking at it, and it had a little blade that comes on the front of it. It's the way I ordered it was a stationary blade. I got to noticing that blade swiveled. You know, you could make it swivel, make it turn any way you want it to. And I said, well, that must be something new they're putting on, you know. But Ty called me and told me, he said, you noticed I had the swivel blade on the front. I said, yes, sir. And he said, well, that's a $4,000 upgrade on that piece of equipment. But he said, I told him that you didn't order it and I didn't order it, and you're not paying for the extra and I'm not paying for the extra. Anyway, he finally told me, he said, we've got what we call a goof up fund that we have to keep at Thompson Tractor. And when they order something like that, if it's extra or whatever that wasn't actually ordered, that they take it out of that goof up fund. So we actually got a better piece of equipment than we ordered. For the same.
At no cost to the city. We like that.
As long as they're not in my pocket.
Anything else, Rodney, that you want to speak to us about today?
I guess that's it.
If you will, get us a 5-year contract worked up with new figures
Yeah.
to show our customers, and we'll want to base it on a cost factor, okay? Next is Scott Tyra, who has been working diligently on our anti-littering committee and Take Pride in Hamilton program, and I want Scott to address us on how far it's gone and where it's going and the work that's been done and is going to be done.
Well, I think when we all ran for office, everybody talked to us about the littering in town, and something needs to be done about it. And still today, we see from different social media outlets, it's still a hot topic on a lot of people's minds in our city right now. And first of all, Ms. Sheila Perdina downstairs, she's really helped me with this and putting it all together. And what we'd like to present to y'all at this work session is, like the mayor's saying, a Take Pride in Hamilton anti-littering campaign or committee. And with this committee, come up with ideas, ways to educate people in their town, what's going on, to bring attention to it, through social media, maybe through our local merchants, that'll be on board. This committee would also help us come up with work days, organize that, what areas of town we wanna work on. Also, schedule those cleanup days, but, also to come up with other ways we may can help clean up our city, bring attention to it. And I know, talking to these folks, every one of these have been talked to, they're all on board as far as being on the committee, they're excited about it, they wanna find ways to clean Hamilton up. But also with this committee, there's been some organizations in town that has already reached out that they would be on board too to help. I won't call their names at this time, but on the committee would be Heidi Ledbetter, Sheila Ferdina, Lynn Holloway, Frankie Kimbrell, Kathy Page, Ricky Pierce, and Alan West. And just like to get any feedback y'all got on it. I know, like I said, we've all faced phone calls, text messages about the littering problem.
I'll ask you a question at that point. We haven't limited our committee to just this group. This is the people who've stepped up so far, right?
These are people that, at some point or another, I think maybe have talked to maybe one of us, or they've talked to Miss Sheila about concerns about the littering.
Yeah.
And like I said, each one of these have been called and they're willing to serve on it.
I know somebody else. If you call my dad, he's all about it because he's fed up with it.
But just, I don't know if this is something we need to bring before put on the agenda to vote on, or, but,
I'm not opposed to putting it on the agenda and adopting it as an official program of the city. The thrust of it is to get the work done. I have no problem with voting it in as a part of our city activities. From what I see, pretty much it's volunteerism at its best, you know, and
Scott, with
the
these,
city might be out a little money in furnishing transportation for these work dates, cokes and water and stuff that we
Fire
need for.
department used to have vests and bags and things when we did it before, stuff similar to this.
and probably some signs we'll need to put up on the road to let people know, slow down, there's, you know, people
I know they have
working
the
in that area
vests.
too. You know,
And I think that
Because we used to do it was more like an annual cleanup day.
Let me ask you
But it
this.
wasn't an ongoing thing that every quarter or month or something.
I know Kiwanis, of course, I've been in Kiwanis for I don't know how many years now, but I remember as a young kid, we used to have to adopt a mile in Kiwanis. I remember on a Saturday, once every so many months, we would go out. You were in there during that time, and
I helped with the mile for the First National Bank, and I helped with the mile for the Kiwanis for
Yeah.
years, and it was a special time for us. We all got
Yeah.
out there and we worked, and when we made sign, we filled up them bags and we tied them off, we piled them up in a big pile, and the truck come and got them, and it made a difference. And we can make a difference again with an effort like we're starting today. And I appreciate the work that's been done, and I want us to follow it up and do whatever we need to do to stand behind the program. And I'm 100% for it, and I'll be out there on work days myself. I won't be sending somebody, I'll be out there.
So I appreciate you, Scott, kind of heading this thing up. 'Cause I know we all ran on it, but you took more of a lead on it and made sure that it got done. So I appreciate that all these committee members are fine folks. If we want to add something to it, I don't have a problem with that either.
And if if Ricky wants to be added to
Oh,
that committee,
he's already made a
tell him
statement
to
about it.
contact Sheila Ferdina and she'll include him. And if someone's listening out there and you want to be on this committee, let us know here at City Hall. We want to hear from you. And please help us clean up Hamilton. Thank you for that
In
effort.
conjunction with trying to get some of the houses, and
Yeah.
this is similar to that, but it's similar.
This will be more as far as the littering going on and, you know, from the side streets and what area of town we need to really concentrate on. They can kind of help us organize that and reaching out to some different organizations that might.
Some of the Facebook posts the other night with the athletes,
Yeah.
basketball team or somebody cleaned up, and that was real good too.
Yeah.
Coach
I saw
Cantrell's
that.
told me he's on board with the school that they
You
do.
may have groups of schools that,
Schools, churches.
I can approach the Kiwanis about, doing that.
Scott, would you, present this to the people at the next council meeting, this idea again, and promote this a little more?
Be glad to.
We want to get everybody on board that's interested in cleaning up. Back to the matters that Tim brought to us today, do y'all want to sanction this, vote on this at the next meeting, or do you want to not have it on the next agenda? We'll do it at your pleasure.
Oh, did we say that we might could use funds from the, capital improvement? Or would it come straight out of the general fund?
Yeah, we can use it.
I mean, I was just curious.
Maybe not all of it, I'm not sure what was the total amount.
210, 250, $210,250.
I'd be for taking what we're allowed to take out of that fund and pay the rest of it from the general fund, but yes, I think we need to use that money, I sure do. We still don't have numbers to give you, as to how the, tax revenue's been affected by our new business that's come to town, but as soon as we get some numbers to report to you guys, we will. Ross brought us this, I think the wage is up here. Tell us more about the DV.
That was from, our inauguration.
Oh,
night,
There's
so-
just a video.
Thank you. Yeah, I want that as a keepsake.
I can just have a question. The meeting about the 1.2 million that we got, have you gotten any word on when that can go forward yet?
Congressman Ederholt was coming up there to meet with us and give us that, and I got to Bear Creek Bridge and they turned me around. There was weather warnings out and they canceled the meeting. So we're gonna meet on the 8th of April. I did talk to Mayor Sinceri, and he was a little disappointed in that he could only find 4 things that money is gonna be allowed to be used for: overtime, broadband improvements to your community. Neither was paving or things like that, but you could use it for water and sewer projects. And water and sewer projects are something we need to look at. We saw what we went through with these cast iron pipes that's in the ground. I'd like to dig every one of them out of the ground and replace them with PVC. So he said, now, if you have to tear up your pavement above those water pipes, possibly you could repair all the roads you have to tear up to replace those water pipes out of those funds. So 4 things is all he's found he can use the money for. We discussed it. And so we want to spend 1.224 million, whatever is coming to us, we want to use every drop of it. Because this money has been offered to us and we don't want it to get away from us. And so help me design programs that will spend every dime of this money. It's federal money that's been offered to us and we don't know. It's in the paper today. Kenneth Cochran elaborated on it as to how it came to each city. It pointed out how much our city was to get and all the other towns and how much the county's getting. $9 million county impact or so?
Yeah, countywide.
Yeah.
including county.
It's a bunch of money that's been offered in this 1.9 trillion bill. So we wanna find ways to use it, Ross. That's a good discussion item, and I think we need to look for ways to spend it. Invent ways to spend it, cause we've got plenty of needs. And if it's replacing water pipes, and if there's pavement above them, you have to put it back, so, you know, I'm thinking in that way, you might could, put it in a water and sewer project. Rodney's got a big, fix coming up. Tell us a little bit about your problem up on the hill up here, Rodney, that,
We've got right past the Ragsdale Bridge, right down here, going north of town. We've got that main 18-inch water line that feeds from the water plant to town. We realized we've got a leak on it. Don't know. Don't think it's a humongous leak. There is chlorinated water going into the creek down there, but it's not, I mean, not nothing that's gonna bother anything. But we do know it's our water on that line leaking. I've got the material in to fix it. We hope it's gonna be an easy fix. We don't know till we start digging it up. We do have a gas line on top of it. We're probably gonna have to, and the gas company said they could reroute the gas line while we work on it, which wouldn't be a big deal. But we hope it's leaking at a bell clamp where we can dig it up, put a bell clamp on it. We hope it's leaking at a bell, or we can put a bell clamp on it and cover it back up and be done with it. But we don't know that till we.
it's a major line's the reason we're discussing it. We could be out of water if the thing ruptured when we uncover it. We could be without water for a day or two till they can repair it. It's just something you don't wanna find, but they found it.
So if it's not the clamp,
Right there on the
then
right.
we got
Well,
long-term problem, you know.
it could be just a hole in the pipe that we can put a wraparound clamp around it and be done with it. I mean, we don't know what's leaking till we get in there too. But you know where it's at. Yeah. You know.
We have to look at the potential problem. We know we got a leak. It's gotta be repaired, but we've gotta uncover that pipe to repair it. When you take the pipe cover off, that lets all the pressure go to the line, and
And it's laying in a bed of rock.
so it's in a precarious place. Beware. We could be in for
I'll have
a
contractors here
situation.
helping us with it.
He's got a standby crew to help his crew
You know, have a,
in case.
We're starting to
Tackle that.
get with the state to get permits and everything,
Oh.
because it's right on state right away.
Okay.
So we have to get all that done first.
Rodney is devising a plan to improve his pumping station on the Mitchell Hill. He's talked to me about it, and we think that we're really making headways on that, and, the panel box that we thought we might be replacing, we probably won't replace. The engineer that looked at it told him this old stuff is lots better than what you can buy new. And he thinks we need to continue to work with the, electrical panel that's in there and just do the necessary repairs. But the piping and, the impeller and all that stuff that goes in that other pump that hadn't been changed out, the pipes are frozen in place. He's getting a whole section engineered to bolt one out, bolt it back in while somebody changes that impeller, a quick fix, but a good fix. At the same time, it's all in design and planning right now. So Rodney's trying to get our system working good, and this 18-inch main is our big concern right now. If it were to rupture, we can't do anything but repair it, and our city's gonna be without water till we get it repaired. So he's brought in a standby crew. They're on call to come in when they uncover it, and to be sure that we can fix it quickly. So
When is this gonna be done, did you say?
We don't know yet.
Don't know
We're-
yet.
we-
all that's
we gotta
being,
get
the plan's
state
being
permits,
laid.
Well, I mean, yeah, I need to
all
say
that.
that.
It's not a ruptured line, it's a leaking line.
It's
We just
leaking.
hope it doesn't rupture.
Yeah, I don't, And I don't think it'll rupture. I mean, I think it's gonna be an easy fix, to be honest.
I appreciate you men very much and our distinguished city clerk for sitting in with us today and keeping all the minutes straight. And all of our press that's here, thank y'all. We stand adjourned.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/49 County News TV.